So there have been some bad blows around studying and working in the UK. And some people are of the opinion that you should not study in the UK. Wait, I'm coming for those people later. But let me tell you that advice is not balanced. Well, whether you are studying or working in the UK, the decision is entirely yours to make. But in this video, I'm just going to bring you guys the advantages and disadvantages of working and studying in the UK. Now you can make your own decision and see which one is best for you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinemerem. If you're stopping by for the very first time, hello, you are most welcome. Please do what to like this video, share, and subscribe to my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, you are amazing. Thank you for coming back. So I'm just going to go straight into the video. I don't know if you know about the study or work visas. If you don't know about that, I have a video on my channel explaining visas to you, about study, work, these different work visas, how you can switch, and every other thing in between. You can check out that video because it's going to give you more idea. This video is just going to be about the advantages and disadvantages of both work and study visas. After this video, you can make your own decision based on what you want. Now, first of all, for the study visa, the first advantage of a study visa is that it is very easy to get. Yes, a study visa is one of the easiest UK visas to get. In fact, in most cases, you don't even have to do too much. All you need to do is just show that proof of fund, show your CAS, you are good to go. A study visa is kind of very easy. It's also easy to get admission in the UK, so you will not say, okay, this one is the difficult bit. No, nothing difficult about studying in the UK, except when you actually come to study the study. But when it comes to the process of applying and all, you really don't have too much to think about because in most cases you will hardly get a rejection on your study visa application, except maybe you've done something really wild. If not, you would hardly get a rejection. The second advantage of a study visa is that you can bring your dependents on a study visa so long as you are on a postgraduate level. So if you are an undergraduate student, you are not allowed to bring a dependent. The third advantage of a study visa is that you can switch to different visas: global talent, skilled worker, business visa, anyone at all. You can switch to any other visa you want to, so long as you meet the requirements. For example, the skilled worker visa, there are some requirements you need to meet before you can switch to a skilled worker visa from a study visa. So, but then you can actually switch to different visas in the UK on a study visa. Another advantage of a study visa is that you can work for up to 20 hours a week during term time and more than that out of term time. So term time is when school is in session, you can work for 20 hours a week. And when school is out of session, you can work for as much as you want. And even when school is in session and there's a public holiday, you work more than 20 hours in that week, it will not be counted because your public holiday is counting for you. Another good advantage of a study visa is that you get to meet diverse people. You get to meet so many people. Unlike a work visa, with a work visa, it depends on where you are working. Most times, you may not even meet other people apart from those you are basically working with. And in this life, we need connections, we need people. That's why most students get connections more than most workers. Yeah, and everything in this life is not about working and getting the residence permit. No, you have to, meet people, connect with people that will give you information on how to thrive in the UK. Also, another advantage of a study visa is that you get more opportunities to gain skills that would help you thrive in the UK job market. Yeah, you have more opportunities to volunteer as a student in the field you want to work in the future, and that will give you more chances of getting these UK Tier 2 jobs. So yes, the student visa gives you opportunity also to enter into the job market without being in the job market. I don't know if that makes sense. Now let's move on to the disadvantages of a student visa. And for a student visa is very expensive. Yes, I'm going to be very honest in this video, not going to paint anyone black or blue. A student visa is expensive. It is too expensive. Talk about the tuition fee, the proof of fund. Everything about it is expensive. Nothing is even cheap about it. Apart from the visa application fee, which is cheaper than the work one. Everything about student visa is very expensive. And if you're not lucky, they can yank you off. Like if you get them too angry, they'll just be like, oh yeah, go back to your country. Let's say you are owing them for tuition fee and they've warned you, you're not showing up. They'll just say, back to your country. We'll not bring you here to come and be owing us. Yes, so it's not cheap at all, yes, but it is doable, yeah, but it's not cheap. The second disadvantage of a student visa is that limitation, that work limitation, because some people may be able to work for more than 20 hours a week, but because you're trying to obey the rules and regulations and the laws around working as a student, you may not be able to work for more than 20 hours a week, which is kind of limiting because at the end of the day, if you're trying to save up some money for your tuition fee, you won't really save as much as you would want to because 20 hours a week, or more, what can you do with that? Basically nothing. Another disadvantage of a student visa is that if you are not lucky to get a job and switch to a tier 2 visa after your study period and your post study work visa period, you may have to return back to your country. You will not get the indefinite leave to remain in the UK, which is one of the reasons why you even actually studied in the UK. Because, yes, I know that. Also, remember that your post study work visa period doesn't count towards your indefinite leave to remain in the UK, and you can't also extend your post study work visa. So if your post study work visa says it's 2 years for you, then it is 2 years, you can't extend it. If it's 3 years for you, that's PhD, it is also 3 years, you can't extend it. Within this period, you don't get a job that can keep you in the UK afterwards, you may have to go back to your country. Another disadvantage of a student visa or a study visa is that it is difficult to get your indefinite leave to remain in the UK via the study route because it will take you 10 years of studying in the UK to get your indefinite leave to remain in the UK if you are coming on the study route. Say you're coming here and you're not switching to a work visa, or you don't get a work visa to switch to and you're working to get your indefinite leave to remain on the student route, you may find it really difficult. I mean, you have to be actively studying for 10 years. It's not going to be easy, right? And remember that if you study and get your post study work visa and then go back to studying, the post study period won't count towards your 10 years. So it's going to be like a long period of time for you to get your indefinite leave to remain. So finally, any cap on dependents, like if they say reduce the number of dependents or stop bringing dependents to the UK or anything that would happen around dependent visas, based on what has been happening in the past about them cutting down on dependent numbers and all, if anything happens, it will affect those on the study visa or on the study route. So there's every likelihood that dependence on study visa may be reduced or they will be stopped, or anything that will happen in future, it will likely affect dependence on a study visa. So yes, that's that about the study one, the advantages and disadvantages. Now let's move on to the work visa. The first advantage of a work visa is that it is pretty cheap. Yes, it is kind of cheap. Although applying for the visa itself is not cheap, it's not like cheaper than the study one. It is about six something. But everything around the work visa is cheap. You don't have to pay that exorbitant amount of money that students pay for their tuition fee. You don't have to pay so much. All you need to do is just to hustle, work well, and get the job. Then every other thing is taken care of. Even your proof of fund is not as huge as for those on a study visa or those coming on the study route. For those working, you only need proof of fund for like I think a month, while for those studying, they need proof of fund for like 9 months. So you see, it is kind of very, very cheap. Second advantage of a work visa is that most companies or some companies will sponsor you completely. They will pay for your visa, your IHS, for yourself and for your dependents. I know people that were sponsored and both their dependents were also sponsored. Everything, IHS, the visa application fee, priority application fee. So your company may be able to sponsor you completely. They may just give you everything. So you're basically spending little or no amount of money to actually move to the UK. In some cases as well, your company may be able to house you for like 1 month after you arrive in the UK, and that will give you time to search for your own house. Unlike the study visa, nobody's giving you accommodation. If you don't get an accommodation, you are on your own. And I've heard people say that when they came in, their employers gave them food, gave them one or two things, including accommodation. If you get a good employer, you may get all these things and they're all free of charge. you don't have to pay for them. On a work visa, you're not limited to 20 hours a week. You can work up to 37.5 hours a week, which is enough for you to maybe make up some money and do one or two things if you want to. So, yes, a work visa gives you the liberty, the leverage of working as much as you want. So, you can do the 7.5 hours and also do extra 20 hours a week. Another advantage of a work visa is that you can also switch to another visa if the job you are switching to is happy to sponsor you. Another advantage of a work visa is that you have more chances of growing in the job market. Let's say you've been working, like you are getting more experience, and in the next 5 years before you get your indefinite leave, you would have more experience than someone that's just moving into the market or into the field. So yes, you have more chances of growing if you actually work towards it, though. Not like if you just stay one place, you'll be growing. No. If you work towards the growth, you have more chances of growing on the job. You can also study on a work visa. So being on a work visa, you are not limited. You can study full time and work full time if you can manage it. Although the UK school system may not allow you to, but if you can manage it, you can work and study on a work visa. Also, on a work visa, you can bring your dependents. I have a video about dependents where you can bring them and where you can bring them to the UK. You can check out that video as well. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. Finally, it is easier to get your indefinite leave to remain in the UK via the work route than the study route. Via the work route, you have 5 years, just work in the UK for 5 years, and you will get your indefinite leave to remain, both for you and your dependents. So yes, the work one is kind of easier and cheaper when it comes to staying and getting your permanent residency in the UK. Now, the disadvantages of a work visa. The first disadvantage of a work visa is that it is very difficult to get. Yes, getting a work visa, whether from outside or inside the UK, is very difficult. But then it is even more difficult if you are outside the UK than when you are inside the UK. So yes, a work visa is definitely not easy to get because the job is not easy to come by. But then the visa itself may not be very difficult, but it's just the job bit of it, looking for the job and actually getting a job that will sponsor you is not very easy. So that's the difficult bit about the work visa. The second disadvantage of a work visa is that if you are not careful, this UK work system would stress you out. Like, moving from outside to the UK immediately without having to go through some processes. The system may get you down. The system may break you down before you know it. So it is one of the disadvantages of just coming in on a work visa. Not very easy to adapt to their work system. So yes, it may break you down if you're not careful. Another disadvantage of a work visa is that if your first sponsorship expires and your current employer is not happy to continue sponsoring you and you don't get another employer to sponsor you for the remaining 2 years, you'd have to go back to your country because you don't have any basis of staying in the UK anymore. That's why you have to impress them. That's why when you are working, you need to work with everything in you. Don't let the system break you down. Don't just be lazy. Be active, be proactive, be developing yourself on the field so that the company won't be able to do without you. I know that there are some fields where it is difficult not to sponsor people that are already sponsored. Just like nurses and doctors, once they are sponsored, they are sure of getting the sponsorship for the next 2 years. But if you are in a field that you were just sponsored, maybe they feel you are okay, they sponsored you, and then you come over and you're not giving them what they want, they may not continue sponsoring you. And if you don't get another employer to sponsor you, you'd have to go back to your country. Another disadvantage is that depending on the area or on the visa you come in with, work visas may restrict you to work in a particular field. That means you cannot work outside the field you are sponsored to work. You may just have to be tied down to that field, whether you like it or not, whether you want to progress or not, whether you want to gain experience in a different field or not, you just can't. You just have to remain in the field you were employed to come and work. For example, for the care assistant visa, if you come here on a care assistant visa and you feel, oh, I've got some extra times, I could work in the IT field or in another field, you will not be allowed to do that. You only have to work in the care sector. Finally, another disadvantage of a work visa is that any cap on dependents may also affect those on work visas. Yes, I know you don't expect that, but it is true. So yes, if they want to, they will stop. They can reduce the number of dependents for those on the work visas. Depending, they can just do what they want to do. So it's not restricted to only those on study visa. It is also applicable to those on work visa. So yes, for me, I think the bottom line in this video is that Study visa is expensive but easy to get, and work visa is cheap but very difficult. The visa in itself may not be difficult, but getting the job is tiring. Trust me, getting the job is not easy. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying you should channel your energy into one aspect of it. What I'm saying is diversify, do this and do that. If you're lucky to get a job from your country, why not move to the UK and start living a soft life? But if not, you can just try the study route. Maybe okay. And there's no point waiting for like forever to get the job. So if you've tried the work one and it's not working, try the study one. And if you've tried the study one and it's not working, try the work one. Or try both and see which one will work for you. And then that's basically it. So yes, that's that about this video. Please let me know if I missed out any point and let us know the point in the comment section as well. Now you guys, that's that about this video. Until I see you guys again in the next one, do take care, stay safe, and bye.